method 2 in the AAA method, and that is assertion. So when you're trying to develop and when you're effectively developing the internal locus of control, which means that you are going to be a cause in your own life, that the things that happen to you in your life are part and parcel because of the choices you make, the things you believe, and the way you perceive the world around you. So in order to start inviting that control back into your life and to make the next step a possibility, to take what you've acknowledged in that first step, the acknowledgement that there are things in your control, there are things out of your control. The next step is to decide, to make an assertion that you will and you are and you must making the choices and the commitment and devotion to change what you actually can. So you acknowledge that, yes, there is this spark, there is this courage inside of you to make an active decision that will transform your life and your circumstances. In part, that's why you're here. In part, that's why you're watching this video, because you are committed to that change and that growth. And you're committed to seeing this change in others as well. You're committed to being a light in the lives of others, so that like one matchstick to another, light jumps from light and light grows in abundance. Now, this assertion comes when you acknowledge inside of yourself, when you assert to yourself and you assert to those around you that there are things you can do to make a difference. So thinking back to my own personal story, when I was sitting in jail, when I was sitting at the lowest point of my life, I realized, I took a long look around me and I took a long look at myself, and I realized there were people I was hanging out with that were not influencing me and that did not care about me. So I made a decision, an assertion to myself that I was going to, one, cut out people who were going to bring me down and cut out people who were going to continuously influence me in the worst direction. Two, I made an assertion that there were habits that I could develop. So I was involved in some illicit activities that I needed to stop doing. So I stopped doing them. I stopped participating in those activities. And what that did for me was it freed up time, energy, and money to do things that cleaned up my life. So one, I wouldn't get in trouble anymore because I wasn't doing those things. So I couldn't blame, the outside world for my own life because I was no longer doing the things that got me in trouble in the first place. And what I also decided was that people depended on me and that I had to shape up and become someone worthy of sharing a life with them, because I wanted to be invited back into their worlds, especially those of my family, especially those of the woman that I ended up meeting and being with. If you've watched other videos, you know that I've been with her over 5.5 years now. So by making these concerted changes, by making the assertion that I control my life, I control the outcomes, and I can influence those outcomes to become better. Whether it's my heart that beats, my lungs that breathe, or my mind that thinks, I can create a new relationship to myself where I affect the outcomes, where instead of the world happening to me, instead of sitting from this place of victimhood and bystanderhood where I allow things to just happen to me. Yes, there's a time and place to go with the flow, but right now, at this point, it is of complete necessity that you make the assertion in this step that you will take the bull by the horns, that you will affect the outcomes of your life, and that the identity that you embody and live each day is one where you make impact and contribution. These are two of some of the highest human needs. Tony Robbins tells us that humans need consistency in the way they view themselves. So if you consistently view yourself in this light of, oh, things just happen to me and I'm letting all the world happen, and I don't really control what happens, I don't control what happens to my pets, I don't control what happens to my body, I don't control what happens to my relationships, I just show up and things happen. And things are going bad, not by anything I had to do with them. No. The assertion is now that you are responsible for everything. You are responsible for even the things that you don't even think you're responsible for. Because by making that over commitment, that over delivery in your own mind that you are responsible for everything that happens, it puts this power inside of you to take initiative, to control what you can, and to influence those around you in a way that says, we can make a difference. And that difference is what happens when we step up. For instance, you look at a lot of what's happening in politics now, and there are people emerging onto these debate stages and into the political scene who are outsiders. And the reason that they're able to penetrate the space and make their voices heard is because they've made an assertion in their own lives that they can make a difference. And that by rallying people together, that democracy still works. Democracy still works because people are rallying together and they've communally congregated around a central focus. And that focus is that we have the power to make changes in our entire system and our entire way of life. And that is where true power is. That is the courage we talk about in that serenity prayer. That is the courage that you can embody in your day-to-day life that makes effective and powerful changes. That is the internal locus of control coming to life. That is the internal locus of control being a part of your identity. Again, going back to this difference between life happens to me to I'm doing it. Life happens to me, I'm doing it. You're doing it. You are the lived experience, the real experience that no one else can take from you. This is your life. Are you going to let your heart beat the strongest that it can? Are you going to let your voice be heard in an intelligible way? Are you going to choose to talk about things that you know about and choose to have curiosity and question the things that you don't know and question things you do so that you can see them in a new way? This is about realizing that you can make the difference in your own life, that no one's going to do it. Who ties your shoes for you, baby? Who put your shirt on today? Who combed your hair? I know, it's beautiful, right? Who brushed your teeth today? Who made your lunch? Who made your life? I know if your mom made your lunch. Who asked for your lunch to be made today? You are the one who makes all this happen. In fact, the very nature of this conversation, the very ability that you have to sit here and digest this information, that is a choice you made today. Do you acknowledge that? Because I assert that you have the power. I assert that you have the power to change any area of your life that you desire. I assert that you have the power to go and find people to help you. That's why you're here. I assert that you can help others grow and be a fantastic role model for them. I assert that if there is something going on in your life that you don't understand, that you can figure it out. I assert that you have the courage, the wisdom, and the power, the personal power, to make the change, to bring that bring that locus of control inside of yourself and have the power once and for all to take initiative, to take the proactive steps that you need to transform your day-to-day life. So those first two methods we said were acknowledge and assert, and in the next video coming up, we'll finish it out with the last step. The last step's coming up, and I'll see you in the next video.